Hello everyone and welcome to the first ever recorded episode of Memoria Mortis. Yay!
Oh yeah.
There's only 2 people here now. No longer chat. So, before I begin, I'd like to precisely talk about that. We are going to, from this episode on, be recording Memoria Mortis just to free up a little bit of time for me, as well as for Mizzy, obviously. Because we want to do other things, and I have to write a book and campaigns and things of the sort. So we're gonna be relaxing a little bit with Memoria Mortis and gonna be recording the episodes. Hopefully still weekly, but if not weekly, it's just it's just gonna happen. At some point, it will happen. You guys might notice now that the chat over here now has a little figure of Gael, or the full art of Gael. So that, oh god. That was almost disastrous.
It's fine.
so that you guys get to see how she looks, which is pretty cool, And it replaces chat over there, and you get to look at Gael. All right. Other than that, just another good quick announcement. This next Saturday, Requiem episode 14. This next Saturday being the Saturday of 21st of October. We're going to be playing episode 14. Last episode was a lot of lore, which was episode 13. It is already up on YouTube, and this will be uploaded before episode 14. So we recommend you checking that out if you're here for single player D&D. You surely are going to enjoy the full party, in which Mizzy is included as well. All right. So, that being said, let us dive into the world of Eight with just the smallest little recap of what happened in the last episode. The last episode, Gael, along with John Flintriight and Rosamund Warwick, I believe is her second name, or her last name.
I think so.
Yeah. They found themselves locked inside a cavern, along with an ettercap, a spider-like being that, well, had a lot of giant spider children. It was quite the fight, one in which Rosamund went unconscious and spent a few rounds unconscious, a fight that was brought back from the brink thanks to Gael and John's quick thinking and nerves of steel. But they did slay that creature, and they did take its head, and then they burned away its lair, along with the webbing and all of this entire area that was occupied by the giant spiders, hopefully being enough to scare them away and move them out of the woods northeast of the town of Riiiiight. Then they left the lair, along with some loot, and a surprise appearance of Tauntaun the cat, who was slowly being saved, or not slowly, but he was being saved for a meal later on inside of one of the spider's cocoons. As they went back to Riiiiight, they got the gold for Tauntaun, turned the gold back in to Ronald for Tauntaun, as Gael did this quest out of her goodwill and her apparent love for cats that is in no way related to Mizzy's.
No, not cats specifically, animals, pets.
Yeah, it's just Tauntaun. Oh, the animals, pets, okay. Alright. Anyway, after that, they found themselves another sleep. Gael had another mysterious dream. And after they woke up, they met with Lord Ivan, with Lord Morden, and all of the forces that were moving to Kazzenfall, and they were paid by the Lord of Riiiiight himself. I don't remember the amount of money that they were paid, but I remember that it was quite a little bit. But Lord Vincent Silvercross gave them some money for killing the ettercap.
It was around 500 gold or something.
Was it not just 150?
Was it?
Or 175?
Well, then in that case, I'm very rich.
You are, because of the payment for your heroics in Wormtooth Fortress.
Right.
Either way, Lord Morden and
My mom just dying, coughing. Yeah. Shh.
Lord Morden and Ivan and Lord Ivan are ready to leave. Is there anything you want to do in Riverdale, or are we traveling on to the city of Kazzenfall?
Even though I have a cleric on my team, I want to go to a shop. Not cleric, sorry, healer.
Yeah, she's a druid, but yeah.
Just to there is any
In Riverdale
shop to buy
a potion, not a penis, I hope. Yes, the town of Riverdale is one of the closest towns to Kazzenfall, so they do have some business that comes from there. I'm gonna say that if you want to, you can find 2 regular potions of healing at a total of 115 gold.
Can I barter?
Sure, roll a persuasion check for me.
Oh god.
The non-role play.
Oh, 21.
21. That lowers it to 100 gold.
Nice. Well, it's something.
Yeah, 100 gold for 2 regular potions of healing. They don't have much more here, as it is a smaller town. And these are magical items.
Okay. Okay. So let me just put the inventory tab here on my notebook. I have 10 bolts.
10 bolts.
Oh yeah. The healing potions were regular?
Yeah, regular potions of healing.
Okay. I think I only have that. No, I still have... No, I don't. I thought I had still a smoke bomb, but I used both.
Yes, you can. If you want to do so, you can talk to Morden at some point, see if he can make you some. But right now, he seems to, or during this trip, he seems to be a little bit
yeah,
distant.
I don't want to talk to him. But while we are walking, I want to talk privately to John.
To John, all right. As you approach him, or well, he's riding beside you. Or behind you. You call him to your side. We're not gonna roleplay the horse mounting again, or the horse riding again. We're not gonna sit here like this again. But he goes, Captain, you asked to talk to me.
Yes, John. I would like to know what's inside your head.
Hopefully a brain, Captain.
Not literally. What have you been thinking? Why are you acting so strange? You were not like this back in Sorenshire.
You see that he kind of takes a moment to, take in what you said, and you're right, Captain. I wasn't like this. And perhaps this new self that I've fashioned, not wanting to get too pretentious or deep into this, as those are not my origins and you know it. Perhaps this new self is fashioned to protect the young man that lived in Sorenshire. Because that young man would have broken down at the first death he had witnessed. And for the sake of both of these selves' lives, I can't allow that to happen.
You know, I thought that it was something like that. I didn't want to interrogate you or make you uncomfortable with these questions, but Rosie just pointed out, and I just wanted to know that if anything was bothering you, or if you were okay, if you liked doing this, even.
I must say that a life of adventuring is... It seems to be a higher calling than just a fight in a war that I didn't get to start. I have my duties now to you, and I will remain loyal to those duties and loyal to my captain. But I ask you that if at any moment we get the opportunity to perhaps turn to that higher calling of adventuring and helping those who are truly in need, I would like that very much. It seems that whichever side you pick for the war. Okay, Cat's leaving.
My god, it just goes there and walks around and goes here and walks around.
Yeah, he just can't figure it out.
Fucking god.
It's because he has a little tiny head. It takes a long time processing. I'm pretty sure there are birds with a higher proportion of brain
No.
I'm just saying. Anyway, he continues. Yes, if there's at any moment an opportunity to turn to adventuring, I would like you to know, Captain, that would be something I would enjoy.
Okay, but can you see or can you feel how you are acting right now? Like your normal self. You don't need to be so much all the time. You can be normal, like be yourself.
I appreciate the advice, Captain, but I believe that this newer self is much more to my liking, and maybe it will evolve into something that does make me feel whole. It's just impossible. When he's like this, it's just impossible to play anything or do anything. All right, chat. We have or not chat. Never mind. You got this. It's just strange. Audience on YouTube. We have a cat-related break. Yeah, subscribers. We have a cat-related break here.
Okay. Okay, if you say so. I was just talking because I want to make you feel comfortable, you know? But if you are comfortable like that, I have nothing to say. Just be whatever you want to be. Just, yeah. Just fight.
All right, Captain. Thank you. I appreciate the pep talk.
At ease, soldier.
Yes, Captain. Onwards to Kazzenfall. You shake your head when you're
I don't know, I never rode a horse.
Well, I'm pretty sure I've never seen anyone go like this. Anyway, right, and then you would fall off of said horse. So you resume the trip over to Kazzenfall. You came you started the trip pretty early in the morning. You kind of even though you slept a little bit later than usual, which is a little bit later than sunrise, as it is common in the army to wake up, you still left pretty early, and so you move on through the well-trodden road, through mounds and knolls and hillocks, waving up and down through this path. For a brief part of the voyage, actually, the path even crosses a small patch of dense forest as the long boughs of like old oaks provide cover from the sun for a little while. But after some hours and even a little break to eat, after you come out of this patch of woodland, in the distance, in a large and rather flat portion of land, you see the walls and old broken towers of Kazzenfall. And to the right, to the south, the large hills that cover Lake Deigcath kind of surrounding it. The sun sets the sky ablaze as it hides down in the west behind you. Outside of the circular walls of Kazzenfall, you can also see at a distance the wooden settlements and suburbs that surround the city. You continue on your journey until you make way into those suburbs and through those suburbs, as the people there all stop to take a bow or show some sign of respect to the troops moving in. It is at this distance now that you can see something that you once thought were, well, birds flying over the city of Kazzenfall. You see the strange horse and eagle hybrid, a horse with feathers and talons of an eagle as well as wings, and with the head of one as well. And they fly around the city mounted by soldiers that wear the blacks and whites of Kazzenfall. These, Morden will tell you, are hippogriffs, and those are part of the mounted guard of Kazzenfall, which actually would have a name, which are the Flametalons. Those are the mounted guard. But yeah.
Gael is just very amazed because it's the first time she's seeing an hippogriff. So she's taken in.
John shares the same amazement, and Rosie, even though she tones it down a little bit to not to not be as impressed, she is still kind of staring at them for a few seconds. But when you look at her, she stares off and kind of offhandedly just says, "Have you never seen like horses and birds? It's pretty much the same thing," and looks off to the side.
I ignore her. One day she'll appreciate the beauty of this world.
More of these soldiers kind of on the ground. They stop to salute you and to salute Lord Ivan. The western gates are open, and you notice upon the walls the ballistae and even trebuchet that are held there. The defenses of the Kazzenfall are pretty tight. At the top of a hill, in the center of the city, you can now see, just peeking above the skyline of Kazzenfall, the broken towers of an old broken keep consumed by nature. You walk inside, through the walls. Even the townsfolk actually...
Through the wall?
Or through the gates. Even the townsfolk stop to kind of salute and commend the troops and watch them in awe. It seems like they have this kind of reverence for the military. And this part of the city, as Lord Ivan tells everyone joining in, as there are a few soldiers that have never been, is called the Breach Step, immediately as you walk in. And it encompasses a very big area which surrounds this thoroughfare that connects the eastern and western sides of the city. So it kind of just goes around the south and connects one side to the other. So in front of you, it would go down to the right and then circle around. You notice that the buildings here are relatively modern in build. There's wattle and dow. There's some are of clean and white stone, red tiles, triangular dormers. But you continue moving on through the city towards the center until you reach what seems to be the remains of a moat. A deep, wide gutter that is now covered in trees, bushes, and rubble. A bridge crosses it, and on the other side, you see large chunks of a broken wall that still stand, upheld by their strong structural integrity. Memories of a different time, perhaps. Once you cross this bridge, you notice that the city becomes older as you are deeper inside of it. There are darker shades of gray, old and worn tiles and wood. The houses and buildings are smaller, less daring as you cross into the old town part of Kazzenfall. One thing you do notice, however, is a large military presence pretty much all across the way here. Seems this is very well guarded. On your way here, you spotted dozens of patrol, indicating maybe more than 100 men. Just by walking through.
Why aren't they fighting with us?
Do you ask?
I'll go to Lord Morden.
All right. Yes, Captain Gael.
If we have so much trouble fighting what we are fighting, why don't these guards join us?
Right. Because that would mean all-out war, Gael. What's happening between Herskellen and the Empire is just posturing. They're just nibbling away at each other until one shows weakness. No one wants to risk an all-out war, or at least one where they would employ resources as powerful as the ones we've found here, or we have here in Kazzenfall.
But there are hundreds here. We could use some.
Right. And there are hundreds of them on their cities as well. Kazzenfall is important to the kingdom. It is one of its oldest cities, and it was ravaged and destroyed multiple times, as you can see by the evidence around you. This city was destroyed by mages during the Civil War, and its people still endured, even with the walls broken, and they rebuilt the city stronger than ever. And I will use this as a good moment to advise you. The people here, they are not fond of magic one bit. Not at all. So be careful. Unless you can prove that your magic isn't somehow divine in origin, then do not use it.
Noted.
But continuing on. To employ the resources of Kazzenfall would be to ensure that the Empire would employ stronger resources, and then the kingdom would continue on and snowball upon that, bring in the Helia Dauda, our war mages, and then the Empire would bring on theirs. The death would be historic. An all-out open war like that has not happened in a long time. They have just been nibbling away at us since the Civil War, trying to prod at a small weakness, but we have showed none. So, we should be careful to conserve our forces, in case they do find one.
I see. Well, I'm not really familiar with war strategies and such, so I just found odd that we have so many resources here and we are not using it, but okay. Now I understand.
You are not the only one that finds this odd, if that brings comfort. Every single man or woman that fights in the forts, in the fort line, which is our front line, they too think that they could use help. But all the help that they get is in supplies, in weapons, both from Kazzenfall and towns like Sorenshire and Riverdurt, where we just were. As long as we're able to hold those forts and the borders, then an open war will not happen. Or so we hope.
I see.
Either way, you're going to have some time now. maybe more than a day. The paladins are probably going to take a very thorough look at what we're bringing him. So if you want to explore the town, or if you want to do, or you have any other business here, you may do so. I shall see if I can find one of the old libraries here, and maybe consult it. See if I can find more about what this thing really is.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. I hope you find what you're looking for.
I hope you have a good time here in Kazzenfall. Whenever we have need of you, a messenger, a courier will find you.
Okay.
I shall join with Lord Ivan and the rest of the soldiers and go to the keep. Farewell, Captain Gael.
Farewell.
And he leaves off with the rest of the group.
So Kazzenfall is a much bigger city than
Yes.
Riiiiight. Okay.
It is a city. Riverdare is kind of just a small town.
Okay.
It's a very large city.
Is there any magic shops?
Well, asking around, not exactly a magic shop, but in the Eastern Wing Hood, you hear someone mention. I assume you're not talking about magic. You're not saying magic shops. You're just asking if there's any place where a soldier may find equipment. And
Yes.
quickly enough, actually, the people here, seeing that you are a soldier of Fort Flameshield, and seeing you associated with the military coming in, and with John's own uniform, tabard, and armor, they point you to the Eastern Wing Hood, to a place called the Hallowed Touch, which is a place said to be filled with blessed items of Rauno, the righteous flame.
What time is it of the day?
Well, the sun was setting, so we're getting close to night at this time.
Good afternoon.
All right, so you move from the center, from Old Town, into the northeastern section of Kazzenfall, and curiously enough, as you do move into this region, and you cross another bridge that goes over the moat that surrounds Old Town, you see this tall square tower with kind of multiple large windows on the very top 3 floors, from which branches and leaves and hay are hanging out of, which look like nests. This building, you notice, from this building, you notice some hippogriffs flying off, and then some others landing up at the top. And you hear people up top yelling out, calling out some of the hippogriffs that are riderless. They have no one mounting them, and then they come back, and then you see some smaller ones flying just around the tower. These little they still have kind of that more fur-like feather of baby birds as they fly around the square tower and then walk back inside. It seems like these are the nests, or the nesting place for the Flametalons, or the mounts of the Flametalons. But you find this eventually this small huddled space. As you notice, the streets here covered in bird shit. You found this small huddled place that has a sign or a board above the door of this flame that seems to be Rauno's flame, with a finger reaching down into it. And the sign reads underneath, "The Hallowed Touch." It is quite the quaint building, but it has these statues placed on the windowsills of Rauno and of other saints of the Righteous Flame's religion. As you walk inside and you say good afternoon, you see a dwarven gentleman with completely shaven face and a wide nose and kind of a protruding brow. He has no eyebrows whatsoever. His face is wrinkled and especially around a few scars that they have on the cheeks and forehead. They have bright blue eyes and this square jaw, very broad shoulders, and they're wearing, or he's wearing the whites and reds of the Church of the Righteous Flame. And as you say good afternoon, he goes, "Good afternoon to you, lost soul. Have you come to the hallowed touch seeking guidance?"
I'm not so much of a lost soul. I know where I am. But I do seek some equipment that one might use in battle.
Right, and to the right place you've come. I, myself, am named, and I lost his name, Ulfric Stoutsoul. Welcome to my shop. I provide the weaponry for the paladins of Rauno, and all of the soldiers who wish to spread his word around the world and in the battlefield. Then
we came to the right place.
He looks at John and says, "Are you perhaps in the military yourself?"
Yes, we are.
"And what rank are you?"
What rank am I? I don't know.
What does John call you?
Captain. Oh, I'm captain.
Then you shall enjoy a discount befitting of a captain.
Oh.
All right. What are you looking for, Gael?
Okay. First, if it has, of course, a sword for John.
All right.
If it's better than what he has right now.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe armor for me.
Alrighty, and both of those things do exist. So, for armor, we have Righteous Armor of the Shield's Blessing. I will tell you what it does, alright? And this could be, I can make this into leather, plate, whatever you want. I can make it and add it to it. But it does the following thing. The wearer of this armor can use their bonus action to cast Bless on themselves. They can use this ability once per short rest. If the wearer of this armor comes under the effect of another Bless spell, they, as well as any allied creature within 5 feet of them, subtract 1d4 to any damage they take.
Oh, cool.
So, if you are doubly affected by the spell Bless, you get a little bit extra. Since this, I guess, is also armor, there's also a shield. Oh, but it's armor for you. Do you want to know the shield, though? As well?
For John, yeah, he uses a shield, right?
Yeah, he does. We have the Shield of Righteous Retribution. Divine Rebuke is the ability. When a melee attack misses on the wielder of this shield, they can use their reaction to fire back a blast of radiant energy towards the attacker. The target creature must make a dexterity saving throw DC 14. On a failed save, they take 3d8 radiant damage, half as much on a successful one. You can use this ability twice per short rest. Now, as for the Righteous Weapon of the Sword's Blessing, this one being, it can be a dagger, it can be a longsword for him, it can be whatever you want. The wielder of this weapon can use their bonus action to cast Bless on themselves. And then, the ability, Divine Assailant. If the wielder of this weapon comes under the effect of another Bless spell, they, as well as any allied creature within 5 feet of them, add 1d4 radiant damage to their damage rolls. So makes you deal more damage. You can also use this once per short rest. I forgot to add it here into the description, but I can edit it real quick.
Hello.
While you think.
Well, it depends on how much it costs.
Right. That is true. I'll tell the price. For the armor, depending on if it's leather or plate, it can go from 500 gold to 800 gold. With the discount, this may be lowered, and with you talking to them. The same goes for the weaponry. It ranges from 500 to one-handed weapons to 800 for two-handed big weapons.
And the shield?
The shield goes for 700 gold. Flat, obviously.
Okay. The armor, does it increases AC?
The armor increases the AC just as your regular armor would.
Okay. So for John, it would have the same AC.
I believe John, if you let me check, he has a chain shirt, which is, give me just a moment. Chain shirt is medium armor, so it's 13. If you get him plate, his AC will increase greatly.
Okay. I guess I'm going to the armor because he's our tank.
All right, very well.
So...
Let me just do something. Okay, I'm just gonna create the armor.
I'm just going to ask John, do you have any money with you?
He goes, I have my 2 latest salaries for a total of 50 gold pieces, my lady.
Okay.
Captain.
Would you like the armor? I think it would be very useful to us.
I agree with you, Captain. If you'll allow me to take this armor, I will put it to good use in protecting you and protecting Rosamund.
Okay, I turn to Ulfric.
All right.
And I'll say, well, this armor is amazing. It would be very, very, very good to us. But I'm afraid I'm not able to pay 800 gold for it. I think I can give you a total of 500 tops, I believe, if that is okay.
You do have the rank of captain. 500 gold pieces. Could you make it? Perhaps 550 gold pieces.
That is very hard.
And this would be half plate. If it were to be the full breastplate armor, or excuse me, the full plate armor, that would be a lot more expensive.
What if I make this shop the main shop for the armory? Our armory.
And from whereabouts do you come from, Captain?
I come from Sorenshire.
Then you are stationed in Fort Flameshield.
I am, but we can come here again.
Right, but it's a journey's away from here. I'm not sure that I could even provide for an entire fort. My prices are very high because these blessings that I bestow upon the armor and the weaponry, they require days and days of ceremony and rituals and prayer.
Okay, so what could I do for you to make the armor 550 breastplate for this fellow here to protect our country?
Give me a second. I need to roll a persuasion check for me.
I suck at persuasion. 8.
He goes, sadly, I believe only a total of perhaps 650 gold would be good for a full plate, even with the captain's discount.
Even knowing that I am the hero of Fort
Wormtooth.
Wormtooth?
You're the hero of Wormtooth.
Well, of course. I took down an entire fort. Well, not by myself, of course. I just helped.
You're Gael.
I am Gael. Oh, sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I am Gael. I'm sorry. This is Rosie, and this is John.
John takes a bow. Rosie goes, "Hi." Oh, that, I believe, changes things. A bit. I did not recognize you by your red hair that they say was bright like fire in the day that you took Fort Wormtooth. We had ravens arrive at the very day that it was communicated that you had that victory.
People tend to exaggerate. And it was very bright outside.
Then surely, for 550 gold, I will do you the full plate armor.
Nice, thank you very much. That will help us a lot. And I will make sure that I will talk about you to everyone.
I appreciate
and how
that.
much of a good person you are.
Oh, you have such a kind and righteous heart, Captain Gael. I am truly honored that a hero like you would bless us with their patronage.
Well, as you might know, the armor of a hero is very important to keep him safe. So who makes the armor is very important to us.
Alright, so you can add, let me see if it's already available. Yes, Righteous Armor of the Shield's Blessing plate, which will raise John's armor class to a whopping 20.
Oh, that is good.
So you have to take note of that, okay? Because it doesn't I don't know if I can edit it on the thing. Let me see if it'll allow me to edit. If I go to customize armor class, I can.
Oh, good.
Go to 20. Okay, so if we refresh it now, could you refresh it and tell me if his armor class is at 20, please?
Yeah, it is 20.
Alright, there we go.
Before I go away, I'll just ask Ulfric, do you know, perhaps, if there's any kind of jobs going around the city for us to take on? Because we will have to wait for like a day.
Well, there are surely many important jobs that you may find here in Kazzenfall, perhaps at inns, but if you would like my suggestion, if this is your first time in our good city...
It is.
Then perhaps explore around, see the sights, the beauty of the old broken keep at the center of Old Town is a beautiful place, even in the night to be seeing, but especially in the morning. I'm sure that the guards there will allow the hero of Wormtooth to pass. This is if they have kept with the news. You must know that not everybody has quite the finger at the pulse of the most recent news of our kingdom, as I do, because I must. It is the nature of my business.
Of course.
So see the sights, perhaps.
But
Or
beside the broken thing, do you have any other suggestions?
right, well, there's the Hippogriff's nest right next to here, a few streets away. If you're interested in that, you might even be able to ride one, if you want.
Oh, maybe not. I like to watch them from afar.
Are you scared of the beasts?
They're a little bit big, for my taste.
Well, they will only allow themselves to be rode by someone honourable. And if you truly are honourable, if you truly are the hero of Wormtooth, then you, I am sure will have no difficulty in taming one. Hi, little boy. Hello.
I might. What if I'm not honorable? Do they attack?
They tend to, yes.
Oh, okay.
Also, you can visit Lake Deigcath. It is the large lake that lies south of Kazzenfall. Beautiful sight. It is said to be almost like a mirror at night.
I do like lakes. They remind me of home. There are no lakes, but
There were some small little puddles.
there were no lakes, but there were puddles.
Right, and what is a lake but a bigger puddle?
That is so wise.
Well, it is the sort of wisdom that I impart upon my items, Captain Gael, and you shall enjoy it in the new armor for your soldiers.
Thank you very much. I will bid you farewell and have a good day.
You too, Captain Gael. Fortune and righteousness upon your next endeavours.
Thank you very much. And I will go out. You said it was almost night.
Yeah.
So I will turn to them. Well, he said that the lake was the best at night, so what are you guys thinking? Should we go to the lake?
John
and get
goes,
naked? I'm joking. I didn't say that.
maybe the part of getting naked, Captain, is a bit too much for my new self, but the lake seems fine indeed, as does anything that you'd wish to do. And Rosie goes, right, I guess we could go see the lake. I have no problem with that. And then it hits you, Gael. His words. The broken towers of Kazzenfall and the keep. The lake, like a mirror that reflects the moon.
Right.
I was like, how can I be more obvious? First I'm like, maybe when I say broken towers of Kazzenfall and then lake, she's gonna be like, oh, a lake can be a mirror, and then no words. But there were cats walking around, and I was like, okay, maybe that's why.
Okay. Because you didn't say broken towers, you said broken ridge, right?
No, I said broken towers and broken keep.
Keep. I heard the keep. Okay. Okay, let's. I don't show that something came up. Let's visit all of them.
John goes, right, Captain. Where to first?
Let's go. Since it's night falling right now.
Yeah.
Let's go to the broken tower first, and
All
then
right.
when it's night, pure night.
Night.
Let's go. Night. Let's go to the lake.
Very well, very well. So, you move along the way, back into Old Town. So crossing another bridge, and now you kind of understand what's happening. You see that the moat that is circling Old Town that has no water anymore. You see that this was the outside of old Kazzenfall. That this whole core of the city, Old Town, was the original Kazzenfall. And the walls were broken. And there are still those chunks of the walls around or after the moat that are still standing. As you move even through Old Town, there are old statues that are broken off in half of knights, of paladins, even of a hippogriff that is missing a head and one of the legs. This town has suffered at the hands of something. And parts...
But it's inhabited, right? This part is...
Yeah, okay. Old Town is inhabited mostly by older people, older folk. And you also see across the walls, although it is old, you recognize the impact of something you've seen in Fort Wormtooth. The magic that was hurled by their sorcerers, these giant fireballs. You see scorch marks around the stone that is being slowly consumed by plants, and you see that the plants that dig into the walls, they actually attach to these more charred parts. But you move through and into Old Town and to the center, climbing this kind of winding road that is now the lamps are now being lit by some gentlemen as you move up that road. And as you curve into the hill, you see what would have been the gate of the keep. Now only half of it kind of left, the rest is tumbled forward and into the road. And protecting this entryway, this threshold, you see two guards wearing the black and white of Kazzenfall. And as you reach up there, they go, "Halt! It is getting pretty late at night. I'm afraid that visitations to the old keep should be over."
Oh, good night. We just arrived in town. We went to see Ulfric, your...
Right.
So,
Ulfric Stoutsoul, yes.
Yes, and he told us to visit this part of the town, the broken tower, because it's a very beautiful sight, I believe. And well, I am Gael. I'm the captain. I'm one of the captains of the army.
You are a captain. Is there any documentation, any information, anything that you may show that would indicate your rank? You do have, although it's not, generally they would wear it in their armor. But since Gael has her own stuff that she likes walking around with, you do have what is essentially a little badge that would indicate your rank. That is usually worn as an insignia on your cloak. You'll notice that John has one too, but it is of the lowest rank. It's pretty basic righteous flame symbol that he has on his cloak. But as you show it, he goes, "Oh,
no." I say, wait. I say, "Oh, of course. I should put it here, right? But well, here."
And he goes, "Oh, Captain," and immediately his hand goes to his heart. Of course. Then would you like a guided visitation, or would you like to just explore on your own?
What do you know about this? Do you know a lot? Do you have information?
You see, he's a middle-aged man, has beard with a black beard with a little bit of gray in it, and the hair is kind of buzz cut almost. He goes, as a soldier of Kazzenfall and a citizen, I do know some of its history, yes.
Okay, and what happened here? What caused this?
Right, well, this is one of the remnants of the Civil War. The
Civil War.
Civil War. The Helia Dauda were not yet formed.
The what?
Helia Dauda are war mages. They did not yet exist. And we instead, well, not we, I should say, I was not yet born, but our Jesus, I got scared by Artie's movement for some reason. I don't know why, he just moved really fast and my god, okay. Actually, my bad. What he meant to say was, I'm so sorry. The Drauguri had not yet formed, not the Helia Dauda. The Helia Dauda were the ones who attacked. My bad, my mistake. And he goes, the Helia Dauda were an order of mages that was quite ambitious. They were fond of the arcane way and believe that the entire nation should forego their religion, should forego our faith in the righteous flame to dedicate ourselves to the pursuit of magic. And they were quite violent when they were denied. It began a civil war between the paladins of the Verndari, our kings and queens, and these Helia Dauda.
Would I recognize, when he said paladins, one of my first dreams, I saw a red-haired woman killing a soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Or an armored man.
Yeah.
Would I know if he was a paladin?
You saw evidence of radiant magic in your dream, or divine magic in your dream. It might be so. He goes, the Helia Dauda had set their sights here in Kazzenfall for quite some time. One of their archmages was, well, not fond of our people, as they were loyal and faithful. Kazzenfall had stood against the Empire even before the Civil War. And the mages thought that if they attacked one of the oldest cities, if they attacked one of our strongest defenses, then they could show that they were superior.
What? Or who were they faithful to?
The Helia Dauda, to themselves, from what history records.
So they were not fighting for someone?
No, only themselves. So what you see, the destruction you see around you, the broken keep, the broken walls, the dry moat, those are all still vestiges of the Civil War. I'm afraid that in this keep many men died at the hands of foul magic. But also, many men felled these sorcerers and mages, and the world was better for it. I'm afraid that my knowledge only extends so far. I do not quite understand much more of the war or of the old war. I only know what's necessary to tell visitors that come here and ask questions.
Well, it was already very useful. I can't imagine what happened here.
There was much death in the siege of Kazzenfall.
Yeah, I can assume that. And much destruction, I can see.
Correct.
Okay. I will take a look-see. It won't be long.
Very well, we shall await you here for your return.
Okay.
Alright, so you walk inside the keep, and you see now that the sort of central courtyard, which is immediately after the gate, There is rubble piled at the center of the keep's walls crumbling, the towers crumbling in. You see another tower that crumbled outward and down, and you remember seeing pieces of rock down around the hill, and then houses built around those pieces of rock. They seem to want to preserve whatever evidence of what happened exists here in this space, and they're quite sacred and they're quite careful in the way that they handle things and the way that they move around these places. But you walk inside, and there are stairs that, although they do have a little bit of rubble and they're difficult to climb, there are stairs that head to the one of the towers of the keep, one of the ones that, although it is broken outside, you can still walk in. And then there's also a way to go inside of the keep itself to what would have been the Great Hall, but you would have to sort of jump around and climb around some of the rubble to get inside. Where do you wish to go?
Around the tower, is there like is there space around?
There's the kind of the roof of one of the parts of the keep. The tower kind of raises from the keep itself, okay. And from the walls of the keep, because the keep also has some inner walls.
So if I wanted to go, so for example, on my dream, I saw the tower from one perspective, one angle.
Yeah.
Would I be able to go to that angle and watch the tower from that angle?
You would, but you could not be at the keep. You'd have to be south of the tower.
Okay. Then I will go up the tower.
All right.
And check the walls. Check if there's any kind of, I don't know, runes or things written.
All right. Roll for an investigation check for me, please. Rosie's going to guide you.
Yay! My god, I roll so bad.
Plus the d4. $11. So, you climb up the tower, and you see that the very top, as you reach the top, the stairs are kind of curling around a ripped chunk of the circular tower. And you notice, like, at the edges of where this chunk was ripped from, it's almost like a perfect cut, like a blade cut through the tower. You're not quite...
A giant blade.
Maybe, but you're not quite sure what could have caused something like that. You've never witnessed something like this. But you climb up onto the top. You see now beneath you, even as you're climbing up, the sort of remnants of what could be lightning that kind of streaks across the walls, leaving its mark on stone. Roll a history check for me. You still have the guidance. See if
19.
Eodwulf spoke to you. See, he too was a soldier, and he had fought mages. He had fought mages back in one of the wars against the Empire, or battle against the Empire. And he had mentioned to you once that magic now was not like magic back hundreds of years ago.
Wait, you said Ulfric?
No, Eodwulf.
Oh, my grandfather. Yeah.
Yes. Magic now is not like magic used to be. It seems like, especially for the people of Herskellen, magic is much weaker, and these Helia Dauda were part of the group of the very first mages learning magic from the elves in Kerejamaz and bringing it to Herskellen. their understanding of magic was very, very deep, and the way that they expressed it, it was very, very raw, to the extent where it came at the cost of their own physicality. They put no restrictions in the way that their magic would be used, and Eodwulf would often thank the Rauno in this case for that, because he had been hit by spells, but they were... Some of them were as hurtful as a blade, others hurt a little bit more, but it is said that it was much more powerful back then, because they put no restrictions on it. And so you see markings of lightning across the stone in the keep. You see those kind of clean cuts. You see the scorch marks that have lasted centuries now. And then, as the night begins to fall and stars begin to shine out in the sky, you see Rosie, or night had fallen already, but you see Rosie point out in the distance south, and she says, "Look at that. That's gotta be one of the top 5 sights I've ever seen." Do you turn?
No, I'm joking. I do.
You turn to face south, and you see the hills of that surround Lake Deigcath, and there's a gap in the middle of those hills, and that gap is just enough for the moonlight above to reflect in this silver line that crosses in the distance in between that gap in the mountains, and that reveals part of the lake from the very top of Kazzenfall.
I'll say, fixing on the view, if that is top 5, what is top 1?
She goes, "Right, I think I saw Godric naked once. I think that's gotta be top 1, because it was hilarious."
Of course. Why did I do... okay.
And as you look there, your vision is sucked into the lake, but now you see it. You see it frozen. And as it is frozen, you see people walking on it, running on it. And then your vision is pulled back again.
Okay. If I wanted to go to the lake, will I pass through the guards?
Mm-hmm. The lake is far, far off away out of Kazzenfall. So.
Okay. So I, while still looking at the lake, do you guys want to go there?
John immediately goes, "Of course, Captain. That seems like a view of a lifetime."
Let's go then.
All right.
We'll go down the stairs. Should we see the keep?
I mean, we're here, Captain. We might as well. Allow me. And he begins climbing up first and helping you and Rosie through the rubble. As you then hop through this little hole on what was the original gate. And there's more rubble that you have to climb down, and you see now that the inside of the Great Hall, which is kind of the first room that you walk immediately in, as all of the others to the sides were blocked, is all caved in, except from a chunk that is deeper in that still holds the ceiling with its archways or vaulted ceilings that you can see, all carved with what you think might be holy depictions. Could you roll a religion check for me, please?
Religion. Oh, natural 20.
Damn.
for 21.
You recognize one of the scenes depicted on the ceiling as something that you had seen people, that you had seen in the one singular stained glass window that existed in a chapel in Sorenshire. It is a depiction of a moment in history that is very important for the people of Herskellen, which is the
12 men having a dinner.
No, it's the beheading of Rauno. This is the moment of his ascension. And you see part of it that you would assume would continue on to the rest of the broken ceiling that now gives way into the starlight above. But you recognize part of it. A scene of what seemed to be hundreds of tiny little heads kind of depicted small. And then a large human with its head falling from a guillotine as what seems to be a kingly figure is cut in half to its side, kind of cut in half by the breaking of the rock. So the scene would then continue. The beheading of Rauno is his moment of ascension.
Well, I look at it, I say, maybe I should read more about Rauno.
John goes, I myself am of faith, even though I must say that my knowledge only goes to him being an honorable and righteous god.
Well, same. Although I follow him with all my heart. Maybe we should know more about him. He seems to have a very interesting story.
Rosie goes, since when did you care about religion?
Since I am in the army of the righteous flame.
Right.
Shut up, Rosie. Let's continue.
You continue kind of visiting the site here. And you see at the center of the, or excuse me, not the center, but at the dais where the throne, let's say, or the presiding chair would be. It's this raised platform. Instead, you see a sword kind of placed on stone on the ground. The sword is old, rusted, and it has a little, how do you say it? There's a little
square.
A little square, yes, where what the sword is.
Plaque.
Yes, a plaque. There's a little plaque there that has something written on it.
Okay, I will try to read it.
As you approach to read, it is written in common and is blatantly more recent. And it reads, "The last sword of Kazzenfall."
The last sword.
And then it reads further. Something.
Do not touch.
Yes, it definitely has the air of something that should not be touched. But it reads that the last sword delivered the first blow, and the last sword will be the last standing.
Delivered the first blow?
Yes.
Okay. Wait, but I don't remember what the guy said. Did Kazzenfall win?
You never asked.
Shit.
But
I need to ask.
Kazzenfall is here.
Well,
the hell
kinda.
thou are not. So from this, what you get was that there was a siege here in Kazzenfall that ruined the city completely. but the city was rebuilt because eventually there were still survivors, and eventually the king's forces, along with, and he will tell you this, or he would have told you this, along with the Galder Valid, which were the first order of mages that actually was trying to teach magic. They were kind of scholars that wanted to create universities and places of learning, right? They did not use magic to fight, whilst the others, the Helia Dauda, which were part of this same group, they wanted to use it in war against the Empire and against, all of these other forces. So the King's forces, along with these Galder Valid, they pushed back the Helia Dauda and exterminated them, or it is said. They ended the order completely. Whichever last members there were, they probably, vanished off into the ether. But they completely repelled them, and then the Galder Valid would create universities, and from the Galder Valid, the king, as kind of an offering of peace to the mage kind, offered to have these mages, or some of these mages, be part of his personal guard. And those were the Drauguri, the ones who took, and that still exists today, the Drauguri, the war mages of Herskellen.
Okay. And who was the king back then?
The king back then, you're gonna have to let me go look for that. The king back then would have been, so that was, give me a second.
He was king of Kazzenfall or king of
King of Herskellen. Herskellen was already okay. All right. That was King Einar the First, the Knowledgeable.
Okay. Is there anything else in the keep that is worth looking at? More plagues, or?
No, at least in this section, no, it's all just crumbled and difficult to access. You could try to destroy some of the rubble, but that would not be good.
Okay, so are there more sections that we could
enter? In here, in this part, no, but there might be other doors outside in the courtyard that would lead you to different regions if you'd like to visit.
Okay, let's go there.
All right, you hop on out. John helps you again, and you open up a door to the side, and immediately as you do, you encounter the sky and the rest of Kazzenfall, as this room is crumbled just like 15 feet away from where you open the door. But to the sides, you kind of move through and into the room, kind of to the right side. The wall still stands, and it seems safe to be there. And you see a few armors that are kind of exposed or exhibited, let's say, of a complete kind of plate armors. They look old, and they are not at all, similar in style to what you see today around the army. It seems like these old armors that the soldiers here in Kazzenfall wore. You see them with horns, which not common at all. You've never seen that. With horns that are made of actual bone. You see parts of the breastplate kind of going into the shoulder. They have some scale mail to it, or excuse me, not scale mail, actual scales.
Does it ring a bell on my dreams?
No, not at all. These scales, upon closer inspection, they're fake. These are not real scales, but they do have plaques of that indicate that this was armor used during the founding of Kazzenfall, which is would even be way before the Civil War. Kazzenfall is historically one of the oldest cities of Herskellen, and it was probably, you're not sure when it was founded, but you know that the capital, Hederlig, the capital is thousands of years old. Kazzenfall is probably somewhere in that vicinity. So, this armor, if this armor was worn during the founding of it, it's probably around 1,000 years old, or the depiction of this armory.
Okay. Okay, let's see the rest of the museum.
There are, to the other side, there's weaponry that you see, and you see this large bow that is way taller than you. And you see that it has 2 strings, and to the side there's this plaque that shows you how it was used, and it was 2 people pulling on the strings, and an arrow that was almost bigger than both of them.
Cool.
And it is said that this was a Dragon Slayer great bow. Attached to some of these plaques, you surmise that Kazzenfall was founded during the rebellion of humans against the dragons. This is not common history. This is something that Gael is learning for the first time.
Whoa.
You see, as you look upon what seems to be this very large spear that almost reaches the ceiling, that has a plaque with another rudimentary drawing of multiple men holding this giant spear, and it says Dragon Slayer Spear to the side. It is said that this spear or spears like this were used in the killing of Kazaroth, one of the offspring of Tazaroth, the Green Tyrant.
Would I know?
You know nothing of these names. You just, as it says that it is a Dragon Slayer Spear, you assume that those were dragons. You have no idea what they are.
So this was before the Civil War.
Yes, way before.
So Kazzenfall had 2 wars against dragons and against mages.
And from what the soldier said, against the Empire multiple times, against the Soul Empire in the south. And as you kind of walk around it, you see these things. You see that this city is full of history, and its people carry that history with them. They honor the military with them because the military protected them through all of the shit that happened here. They are generally less friendly than the people that you see in the village to other people, but to you, everyone's been very kind. But to just regular people, you see them walk with kind of almost straight faces and grumpy at times.
Like Lisbon.
Not at all like that. This is worse. as they walk about. But to you, there's always a smile. To you, there's always a salute, a bow, a nod, anything of the sort. But it is heavy with history, and a history of being constantly pummeled to the ground by forces bigger than them and still surviving.
Okay. Do any of you guys know about this? The battling against dragons?
John goes, well, obviously we know that the kingdom was founded on the rebellion against dragons, but that's as my knowledge. That's as far as my knowledge goes. And Rosie goes, right. I remember my mother talking about something like this, but I really wasn't paying attention. It's just old, boring history stuff.
But it's dragons. How are dragons boring?
Right. Dragons were destructive. I don't care much for things that destroyed our original homes. The trees, the fields, the forests. Why would I care about someone that enslaved humans? I know I'm half elven, but the other half is human.
I don't know. I don't think every dragon was destructive.
Well, whatever dragons these were, if we were fighting them, they were destructive.
Maybe it was our fault.
It was our fault that we were enslaved.
Oh, no.
Captain, I believe that was a terrible blunder.
Okay. But I don't think every dragon is destructive and bad. Just like every other race, there are bad people and good people.
Captain.
I remember a distinctive book that I didn't actually read, but I know my grandpa had. Something about the Big Blue.
Magical Journeys of Big Blue.
Oh, you read it?
I didn't read it, but my mother used to read it to me and my brothers, yes.
Yeah, that was about a dragon, right?
Right, Big Blue. The dragon Big Blue.
He wasn't evil.
He wasn't evil, no. He was actually quite funny, as I recall.
See?
It's a children's book, Gael.
Children's book are... I'm sorry, I don't remember the word. Are based on true stories.
Right.
If you are able to imagine a good dragon, that's because there was good dragons.
Right, I don't deny it, but these ones were not.
Well, these ones were not, clearly. But they weren't the only ones, I believe. I want to believe.
John puts a hand on your shoulder and he goes, Captain, your optimism and your outlook into life, they inspire me.
I do hope so, John.
They do.
Okay, to the lake.
All right, so to the lake. How about do you want to go to the lake? You want to go by horse? You want to go see if you can get a hippogriff to take it to the lake?
Well, we're here to have experiences. So, guys, what do you think about ride a hippogriff to the lake?
Rosie goes, I would actually love that idea, but maybe it's a bit too... Maybe it'll take... We need 2 hippogriffs.
Are you afraid?
I'm not.
That you are not honorable?
I'm not afraid, no. You look at John on to the side and he's like swallowing dryly. Captain, I believe that perhaps this is a good moment to inform you that I am afraid of heights.
Ah, shit. Are you... Would you get past that fear to experience something you never did before?
I would only do that if you commanded me to do so, Captain.
Then I command you to come with me.
All right. So you're heading to see if you can get hippogriffs?
Yes, and on the way I tell John, you know, the best way to overcome a fear is go step by step.
Right.
One step at a time. And the first step is to go meet the fear.
Right, I met the fear up there.
And you're okay, see?
I was not.
But did you get dizzy or?
I didn't get dizzy, I just was not looking down, I was looking forward the whole time.
Well, that's how you should see life.
Captain...
Put your head up, Queen, or your crown will fall.
I believe in my case you would mean the king.
King.
Your words and wisdom truly are inspiring, indeed. Okay, to the Hippogriffs.
To the Hippogriffs.
Alright, so... You come down, the guards greet you as you exit the old keep and the circular road that goes out of the hill, of the central hill. Go back to the eastern wing hood. Approach the giant square tower. And just as you are indeed approaching, if you would give me just a little moment, I
must say that I am afraid as well. Not because of the heights, but because of the beasts.
Rosie goes, Gael, they are perfectly fine.
They are not small, cute cats.
But they're as small and cute on the inside, you'll see.
If I'm honorable.
If you're honorable.
Might not be.
Do you think I am? I don't look worried. Nope. Oh, we'll see. As you walk to the front, you see.
I open a hippogriff.
you see coming out of the tower, what seems to be a female half elf, with this short silver blonde hair, that wears the tabard and coat of the Flametalons. So she has the actual symbol of the Flametalons, which is very simply just the two talons on the chest with wings behind them. So,
good evening, my lady.
Good evening. Hi there. Can I help you with something?
Yes. We would like to visit the lake, and we had this brilliant idea to ride one of your hippogriffs to the lake.
Right. Hippogriffs are not available to the general public. I don't know. I don't think I can help you. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I am one of the captains of the army.
I
am right. Captain Gael.
Oh, and whereabouts are you stationed?
We are not yet.
You're stationed at Fort Flame Shield.
Oh, we are stationed at Fort Flame Shield.
Shield. John whispers to you when you seem a little bit confused. She goes, right, and you'd like to fly a bit on the hippogriffs to see how you'd fare here in Kazzenfall, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, I can surely take you to the lake. Well, just accompany me upstairs.
Okay. While we're going, any tips? I've never seen one before. I've never met one before.
She goes, right. So, hippogriffs are very well-mannered and polite creatures.
Yes, I've seen Harry Potter.
I'm afraid I'm not familiar with that book. She goes, you have to be polite to them in order for them to be polite to you. But there is something more to hippogriffs. They see into who you are, into your being. They will bow before honorable people. They will wound those who are not. But since you are a member of our good armies in Fort Flameshield, and I assume you fought in the recent battle in Wormtooth, then I am sure you are of honorable heart.
I did. They call me the hero of Wormtooth.
You're the hero?
Yes.
Right. Red hair, flaming hair. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Whoa. It's an honor, and she immediately grabs your hand and begins shaking it.
It's an honor to meet you too.
Right. Okay. Oh, God. I better not let you get hurt, or there's going to be shit
it's
on
fine.
me.
It's fine.
Right. Please. And you continue up the square tower, like these staircases that just go up to the side of it until you reach. You begin hearing as the stairs go up. You begin hearing the outside. John grabs you, Captain.
Like, what's going inside Gail's mind is she knows that the dreams that she has been having are real and they happen. So what if the griffins, no, not griffins, the hippogriffs see that and beyond what I am now? And oh my god, I am hot.
As the door opens, you see this is the first floor, the very first floor. There's some more stairs that go up, but this is the first floor. The top three, as you remember from outside, were the ones that were hanging with, and it's just hay, branches, leaves, and it's roosts. And you see in front of you, walking, just circling around slowly, this large horse-sized hippogriff, maybe bigger than a horse at this point, with the purest white feathers that you would ever seen, from top to bottom, without a shade of gray, except then at its talons and its feet, which are black. The front feet holding the talons of an eagle, the back feet holding the hooves of a horse. And it's from that black that it then moves into white, and the beak black as well. The eyes yellow. Another one is laying down across on the opposite side. You see a almost kind of brownish colored hippogriff. The feathers have lighter tones of brown and then stripes of darker brown, and it has large feathers on the head that reach back and are actually kind of fuse into a mane of fur, of hair at the back of its head. You see other ones, grayer in tone. They're just on this large square space. There are about 6 hippogriffs, and this is the first floor. And flying in across the space, you see this little black hippogriff with the baby hippogriff with the plumage still young, as it flies past you, and you see Uriel grabs something from like a cupboard and begins hanging it on the side, and then she throws it this little piece of what seems to be a mouse or something, throws it in the air to the little one, and it bites it, and
I tremble when he opened his mouth. It was almost at me. He almost bit me.
Captain Gael, I would advise you to calm down. These creatures are harmless. They are trained. They are good. Calm down.
I start crying.
Rosie goes, "Oh, come on, Gael. What did you say to John just a while ago?" And John's like, "Captain, if you don't hold, I'm going to break too."
Okay, I'm sorry, I will. Okay. Take a deep breath with me. One step at a time.
One step at a time, Captain.
Can I approach one? I can't feel my legs.
She goes, "Right. If you wish to ride one on your own, Captain, I would let you be approached by one instead. So let's just walk for a little bit."
I want John to come with me.
Right. Then he will. As you are walking, you see, remember the brown one that had the stripes of lighter brown on the wings and the feathers? It begins approaching Uriel as It nuzzles its head against her shoulder and she begins petting him. Oh, come on. Not now, Ironbeak. Come on. And she pets him and then gives him some of a larger one. It seems like what would be a rabbit or something. And even with the fur, it eats it immediately.
Oh, my
None of these approach you, but as you walk slowly, you see their eyes, the pupils kind of widening and then narrowing and widening and narrowing, just looking at you, looking at Rosie, looking at John, and they all raise their heads, moving very bird-like, but none of them lift the ground.
While I pass through them, I gently bow to each one of them.
All right. You walk upstairs. Uriel finishes petting Ironbeak. Excuse me. As she then leads you upward. You see now on the second floor a lot more hippogriffs here. There are at least 11 of them on this second floor resting. And some of them are already asleep. Some of them are arriving now onto the platform as their riders come off of them and remove their saddles. They all look but none of them.
This is the last floor?
And this is the second. There's a third one.
Okay. Do I see any kind of reddish?
Not here, no.
Okay.
You move to the third floor now. This is the final floor of the roost, then there's the top, the ceiling. There are right now resting here around 15 hippogriffs. You see that they arrange themselves pretty closely to one another. As you see some puppies, or well, not pups, but some baby hippogriffs also nestling down with their mothers or with their parents. And as you reach about the center of the square tower, you hear a loud and you look to your left and you see this large hippogriff. Its feathers are of the reddish color that you've mentioned, but they mix and fuse with black, creating this ombre of a dark flame of sorts. It lifts up its head at you and rises and begins to approach you. Its eyes, although most of the griffins you've seen here have these beautiful yellow eyes, or some of them have kind of bright green, this one has these deep blue eyes that, as they look at you, they turn to the same yellowish color slowly that the others do. It walks to you and raises its chest, and its wings extend.
I nervously take a really strong, deep bow.
Oh, and Uriel goes, "All right, Captain Gael, this is the moment. This one has no rider yet, and he's quite young. You, just be careful, but stay calm, all right?"
Okay, I take a deep breath. I go up.
You see its head reach close into you.
You are the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life.
It moves its head away from your hand, and its wings flap. I'm gonna need you to
Animal handling.
roll an animal handling check with advantage and with Rosie's guidance as she gives you a pat in the butt. DC is not very low, or not very high.
Very low. It's 25. Dirty 20.
You want to know the DC?
Yeah.
The DC for this is 17.
Oh my god. Not very high?
It could be higher.
Oh god.
You see the creature go, and its eyes are now just dead set into yours. What do you do?
I try to slowly again raise my hand.
It pulls back.
Oh no.
It then reaches closer and just is focused on your eyes. What do you do?
I blink. I don't.
Uriel goes, "Open up, Captain. Let him see you."
I let him see me. All of me. I take off my clothes.
This is me. As you lower down your defenses, its wings flap further, and then it bows to you, with one of the wings extended on the forward leg, the foreleg that is, in front of him. You've done it, Captain.
Okay.
This poses a problem, however.
What?
I think I'll mention the problem when we get to the place, to the lake. All right. Now should be the time for you to mount him.
Okay.
Saddle or no saddle?
What do you prefer, John?
I don't know, Captain. Maybe you make the choice, Captain.
Okay. Does the saddle hurt them?
Uriel goes, "No, it doesn't hurt them particularly. It only makes it easier for us, but our first ride is usually always bareback."
Then bareback it is.
All right, then hop on.
Okay. I will hop on the front.
All right, you see
And
John,
I'll say,
as you hop on, John takes a step forward and he bows to the hippogriff. The hippogriff's head turns to you. You see as it turns to the side, the eye is focused on you as if waiting.
he's a friend. Yes.
It lowers itself so that John can climb. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And he climbs up and he holds your waist very tightly.
Do they understand us?
They understand the one that they're bound to. We'll talk about that once we arrive. I just want one thing for you to be clear. You guide him in whichever direction you want to go by pretty much holding onto his back and his neck. You direct him like that, all right? Another thing for you to know, it does not have a name yet.
Oh.
It will be up for you to name him. So along the way there, you might want to think of a name fast, because you only have a few hours for the name to imprint on them.
Okay.
She whistles, and as she whistles, you see coming from the outside and landing Iron Beak, and she hops onto him and pulls Rosie up to the top of him. All right, Captain Gael, are you ready for your first flight?
I am. I turn to John. Just grab onto me. Look forward.
Right.
Deep
right.
breaths.
Deep breaths. All right.
You won't fall. I won't let you.
Okay. You see Uriel guide Ironbeak up the other steps, the other stairs. Do you follow with yours, with your hippogriff?
Yeah, I do whatever she does.
All right, you just pat him in the neck, and he begins walking forward. You climb up to the very top level, and at the top of the hippogriff's nest, you have a vast view over everything around Kazzenfall. The hills covered in fir trees and forests and woods. Lake Deigcath to the south, that sliver of light. The entire city beneath you as the winds blow past you. And then Uriel goes, all right, off to the edge. And she guides Ironbeak to the edge of the tower. You go?
Off to the edge. Are you ready?
And
I pet him.
he kind of reacts to the patting. And then Uriel hops down, and you see her Ironbeak fold its wings down from the tower as you hear Rosie go, woo! It then spreads them out at the bottom and begins flying back up. And then she meets you up there as the hippogriff holds flight up mid-air and goes, all right, Captain, your turn.
Let's go, Flaming Wings.
I'm gonna let you think of the name more, okay?
Hey, I am the Flaming Hair.
Okay. So is that its name, or are you just saying Flaming Wings because...
It's just something that came out.
Oh, something that came out at the moment. And as the first kind of stroke of its wings bursts through the top of this tower, you feel your heart, your organs jump to the top of your, almost here to the bottom of your throat, as it then begins stroking its wings more, flying. It all stabilizes as you begin coursing through the air in Kazzenfall, and Uriel falls you closely behind, leading you into the way to Lake Deigcath.
I will say to John, don't let your fears cloud you from this experience.
Oh, my fears are not... My fear... Okay. You see that he has his eyes closed as you are flying off with the creature. Let me see if if you just give me just a quick moment here, if you'll allow me. As I need... I like this one. Sure, this one's good. As the night is fully settled, the stars are shining. There's not a cloud in the sky. John opens one eye next to you, looking forward. Captain, I'm looking forward, and it's not enough. We're very high up.
Just
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 what,
look up.
Captain?
Look up to the sky.
Look up. He looks
See the
up.
stars.
He looks up at the stars as you... Each stroke of its wings gives you this burst of speed. The wind pushes your hair back as you fly your way into Lake Deigcath. Uriel goes up and down as you try to mimic her movements. You see that your hippogriff is still quite clumsy and kind of sways a little bit with the wind, but it dives down and up with you. And then Uriel and Ironbeak and Rosie ride next to you, or fly next to you, and she goes, "Are you faring, Captain? Is everything all right?"
Everything is perfect.
The hills begin to approach slowly as you see torches beneath you, down on the ground, moving across the roads. And then, as you fly up above this path, what would have been maybe an hour and a half, turns to much less as you ride above or close to the enormous hills that kind of break to the side or of that gap that leads to the gate. There are no small, round, grassy knolls. These are rocky hills, borderline mountains that open up in that gap. You see that Uriel begins to lower and try to move through into the middle of that gap between the mountains. It is a large gap, so it is easy for you to kind of follow. It's, it would be maybe more than a mile wide, maybe a few miles actually wide. And as you follow her, she goes, "Right, this is the lake." And you see this unmoving mirror of the sky, reflecting the image of the trees on the opposite side, the moonlight that is high up, the starlights. It's exactly a replica, the opposite of what you see if you'd look up. And you see John, "Oh, if I look down, I'll be looking up." And he looks down for the first time, trying to break away from his fear.
Good job, John.
And Uriel then goes, "Right, Captain. If this is all, maybe we should head back." As she flies above the lake with you.
Head back? No. Let's just go one more round.
All right. I don't recommend spending a lot of time here. People say that the lake's haunted or something.
Lake's haunted. Do I see anything if I look deep in the lake?
You look deep in the lake. I need you to roll a perception check for me. At advantage, because you are up high in the sky, I'm going to give you advantage.
Perception.
Yes.
22.
22. You see... First you feel your vision being pulled towards this small shack, this shed that is at the end of the road that moves through the gap. And you see this kind of mist forming at the edges of the lake. But that's normal, this fog. But there are hints, just wisps of it. Pale green, moving underneath. Something that no one else could have possibly seen. That you, feel drawn towards.
They are going like near the lake, not around.
Yeah, no, not in the sky. You are lower than the hills that surround that gap. You are way lower than that, but you're still high up in the sky. You're like more than 200, 300 feet up in the sky. You can see clearly around, and those wisps of pale green only really show up down below and near the lake around the edges.
I wanted to explore more of this, but she wants to go away.
You
what's
can
her
ask
name?
her. Uriel.
Uriel, can you drop us off? And then...
She goes, right, of course, Captain, but I must say that it's not advised for you to wander too long down there, so just take a quick sight and then maybe come back. I'll take your hippogriff with me.
Yeah, we're going to the city right away.
Right. So do you want us to wait perhaps at the gap?
Oh, yeah, you can do that.
Right.
Just far away, somewhere you feel safe.
All right. Then let's land there. And she coasts down with Ironbeak. As you follow suit, you go to the entrance or to the road that crosses the gap, kind of as it moves down, as it begins moving down after the first incline. It begins moving down into this more woody area. There are more fir trees around. The shores of the lake, indeed, they are all covered in trees, from willows to fir. The farther away you get from the shore, the more the fir is common. But as you land and you look down at the road and the woods that flank it, and then at the lake, there's this creeping feeling that prowls in the back of your mind, maybe your heart. And the cold and quiet of this night, as you land, you see the winds now sweeping the forest and then the lake as it gently ripples. The winds shake the trees. In the distance you hear this haunting cry. Or maybe it was a howl, followed by moaning that then fades into the night sky above, mixing with the cold winds. And as you land and you hop off of your hippogriff, that is where we're going to end this episode of Memoria Mortis, the first recorded episode of Memoria Mortis! And you rode a hippogriff!
Yay!
That's sick.
Very
I've always
cool.
wanted to do this because I'm a Harry Potter fan. Oh my god. I love Buckbeak. But yeah, you rode a hippogriff, and we've completed the very first recorded episode. How are you feeling?
I am feeling great.
Did you like the experience of pretending to ride a hippogriff?
Yeah, was pretty cool.
And the moment that you were up there next to it,
Yes, I was very nervous.
you would have gotten pushed if you failed the DC. So you would have gotten a claw attack from a hippogriff there. But you made it. So, as we end today's episode, guys, thank you very much for watching. We do appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Perhaps also follow us on Twitters and on Twitch. The links are down below for everything of the sort. This is the first time we're recording, so we do appreciate feedback, support, and all that. I know that it didn't change much, but it is always appreciated. Anyway, we will see you for the next session, whenever that is. Thank you once again very much for watching. And yeah, bye-bye, folks.
Bye.
Take care.